Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And as always, and I do mean this from my heart, I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe, and that you will learn to reject the chaos and the negative energy that is also coming at us from all sides. So, with that introduction, hello, Teresa and Miss Michelle. Blessings to you all, and everyone who else that watches this show. Now, I've been kind of promising for a while that I would do a medicine card show, and blah blah blah. And I've realized that things in the psychic realm have been a little off for me, and for many of us. And so I'm still trying, as many of you are, trying to negotiate these new energies and the new stuff. And then early this morning, right outside here in the woods, owl was very loud. Now I could hear the owl over the TV. There was something on. It was just playing. I don't know if I was really watching it. I've been on this kick of animation of watching King Julie and on anyway. But I heard the owl over the fans, which make a certain hum, and I was like, well, now that's really loud for me to hear the owl above all this other noise. Now, having been in the radio business and other things, you train your ears to be able to hear two or three things at one time. In radio business back in the day, you were queuing up songs and commercials, and you had to hear it for cues. So anyway, my cue, I believe, was owl. So I thought about it early this morning, and I listened, and I was like, well, I wonder what the message is. Nothing in particular. There wasn't like, okay, here's owls chirping, here's your message, Hawkeye. It wasn't like that, which sometimes it is. But so over my sleeping today and just not quite with it today. I mean, I'm literally haven't gotten much accomplished. Still have to feed the cats. But in that, I realized that whatever my sleepwalking or spirit walking or whatever, there must have been a reason. I just leave it at that. Where before I go, oh my God, I spent I slept a whole nother day and blah, blah, can't do that anymore. But anyway, with that said, so in waking up today and trying to catch my balance and everything, I have my spirit book or the medicine cards right over here on this table, like within arm's reach. And I looked over and it spoke to me and said, you need to pick up the cards. So I said, okie dokie, later on, I'll pick up the cards, yada, yada. This is a little bit of backstory. Don't mean to bore you. But so I thought about it and I said, okay, well, then if they're speaking to me. So while being on Brian on the Soul Tribe show in the chat, and thank you, Teresa, for for giving me a buzz. I'm sitting here looking at the book and staring at it and in the cards. And I said, okay, I made up my mind while I was in the chat. I'm going to do a video and I'm going to do medicine cards. That's that. So as I'm doing my live stream thing and warning and blah, 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 and figuring out, oh, what the hell am I going to do? I don't know. We're going to do you told me you wanted me to do the cards. I'm having this argument with me, myself, and I. And so I pick up the cards and turn it up and just, everything is by chance, right? I pick it up and the bottom card is the owl. And I was like, well, So one of the reasons why I'm a little later coming on is I went and got my other book. Would you all tell me, Teresa or Michelle, would you tell me, this looks backwards to me? Can you read that? It says animal speaks. Can you read it, or is it backwards to you? I never know because of this camera and the image thing, and I don't know. But anyway, I've had this book for many, many, many years. Oh, like going on 30 years, honestly. And it's by Ted Andrews, who passed away, I understand, a few years back. But it seems to me that there are some things in this book about animals or birds and stuff, and I go, well, it's written by a man. Now, there are many times that people insert their own personal feelings into something. Not backwards. Thank you, Teresa. So, but anyway, so I like to look at things and go, well, I know that there are many cultures out there that have folklore and so forth about the different critters, you know, going back to Greek mythology and way back, way back. Okay, so in the prehistory of history, Native American, let me leave the American part off. Native peoples across the planet had similar thoughts on the same thing. Now, they didn't have the internet. So if somebody in South America looked at the rabbit and blah, 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 somebody in North America, they got the rabbit, blah, blah, blah. Folks over in China got blah, 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 you know. So, and the interesting thing is that regardless of where the stories come from, there are similarities that you just got to scratch your head and know. Now, how did these folk all agree, at least in part, about these critters? What? You know what I mean? What? So I over my many years of as a shaman in training, have often wondered and speculated, you know, is there something to the animal spirit, because so many different folk agree on certain points. And some of the points are actually kind of minor, so that would actually mean some more. But to the point, though, it's like, should we totally disregard our animal totems, flight, insects? I mean, every living critter, every living thing is part of the cycle. Hey, Robert V., how are you? And great show tonight. And something was said in the show tonight as far as Milky Way Soul Tribe, for anybody who's not in the chat. Oh crap, I lost it. Anyway, maybe it'll swing back around. Too many thoughts trying to come in at one time about this. But the bottom line is that, you know, we're all connected. Yeah, that's it. We're all connected. The strands were sewn together in the universe, and I put it in the chat. And I've had this conversation, and it as the great mystery of the universe. It's the great spider web of the universe, not just here on the planet, and not spiders in the sense that it's feeding off of us. You know, I mean, I got a lot of spiders here in the house. Sometimes they get a little too creepy. One went across my foot the other night on its way to another section of the house. And, you know, I have been terrified of spiders all my life. And so I had to overcome that. And I lived with too many spiders, probably. But they recently had babies, and they literally, you know, dropped from, you know, I'll be sitting here and there'll be a baby spider, you know, just swinging back and forth on its web. Kind of cool, but at the same time, too many, you know, and you just happen to be in my view, and, you know, adios out of here, you know. Let me put my glasses on for a minute. So this is sort of, hi, Alex, how are you? Robert V. Michelle, I'm sorry. Yeah, Michelle and Robert, Teresa. Okay, I got everybody so far. And anybody else hanging out in the background, it's okay. We understand sometimes it's not appropriate to want to type. It's cool. We love you. So, but anyway, we are a part of the web of life, all right? And some might think of it as a trap. Now, it's all in how you want to look at it. I don't consider it a trap. Now, are there soul traps out there? Oh my goodness, yes. Okay. And we should always be prepared with our energies and our life force and all that. But this isn't about that. So for those of you who just joined, I heard Al very early this morning, and it prompted me into doing this. So Al, and oh, I put the book down somewhere. Oh man, y'all just talk amongst yourself for a moment. I got the cards spread out here, and I had the book, and I wanted it to be open. There it is, down here in the dark. Okay, I knew it was nearby. So anyway, this is the book that I have along with the medicine cards. Okay, and since you can see it, I will hold it still long enough, and it's just called Medicine Cards. And Sam's and Carson Bear and Company. So, but anyway, so we have to consider, regardless of the culture, is my point, is that there is a lot of there may be a lot more truth in it than not. Okay, so but anyway, so last night, Al, or very early this morning, it was like 5 o'clock. Now, I know y'all don't like the reading thing, but I'm going to try the best I can. All right. And anything that doesn't seem appropriate, I'm just going to skip or scrunch up. So wait, let me start out with this. First, it says owl, magic, omens, time and space. Does the truth emerge? Casting out deception, silent flight, sacred medicine bird. You getting ready for tomorrow's show, Alex? Good. I mean Robert. Alex. I saw Alex in there, but anyway. So with this, many Native Americans, and I'm not sure about other cultures, but it is said to be in other cultures, that they don't like the owl or the feathers, and it'll say that in here. All right. Owl medicine is symbolically associated with clairvoyance, astral projection, and magic, both black and white. Owl is called night eagle on several medicine wheels used by Amerindian teachers. Traditionally, owl sits in the east, the place of illumination. Since time immemorial, humanity has been afraid of the night, the dark, and the unseen. Thus, the owl, waiting fearfully for the first crack of morning light. Conversely, night is owl's friend. Owl hunts its prey at night. Not only can an owl see in the dark, it can actually accurately pinpoint and identify any sound. This gives it great advantage when seeking food. Owls are the night hunters. I've seen them swoop down when I was outside at night, and oh my God, I mean, literally buzz my head and go, whoa, and you don't hear them coming. And it's the only reason I see them is because of the neighbor's security light out back. And I'll be standing out there, and I just, out of nowhere, this whoosh, it's like, anyway, I have many owl stories, but this is not about just owl tonight. You cannot hear owl when it flies, but its prey definitely knows when it gets caught. Owl is oftentimes the medicine of sorcerers and witches. If owl is your medicine, you will be drawn to magical practices and perhaps explore the dark arts. You should resist that at any temptation to practice black magic or any art that takes energy away from another person or being or thing. If you have owl medicine, These night birds will have a tendency to collect around you even in the daytime because they recognize a kinship with you. Now, there are owls out here in the back, and every day about a certain time, the owls will communicate up and down the river out here in the swamp. It's been very interesting to watch and observe over the years. Is it any wonder that in many cultures, owl is a symbol for wisdom? This is because owl can see that which others cannot. Owls can see that which others cannot. Now, I'm not necessarily, I picked up this owl card today. They were in my backyard. So I'm in this thing myself. Was this only meant for me? And the message today was, no, we have to understand owl wisdom, all of us right now. Let me continue. When others are deceived, owl sees and knows what is there. So right now, there is a lot of deception going on. I mean, we thought it was bad a year ago, right? And now we're into this. None of us thought it was going to be like this, right? Yeah. Teresa says, owl is a very powerful spirit guide. Now, not everybody's drawn to owl. But here's my point about this. We are being deceived. Many of us have known this for a long time, whether you want to believe in the Illuminati and it doesn't matter. But you know that we're not getting the whole truth about a lot of stuff, right? So, and I think many of you have realized, of all the rabbit holes that we've been down with Planet X and all this other kind of stuff, it boils down to there are forces in the universe that are really beyond our control, but we can be aware of them and understand them. And, if there's lightning, don't go outside and run around with a big pole in your hand. Anyway. So, owl can see that which others cannot, which is the essence of true wisdom. What? Being able to see through the deception is true wisdom. Now, I had not really considered this, and I know many of you have called me, and I literally blush every time about being wise. And I thank you, and I continue to seek wisdom. It's my ultimate goal is to not. It used to be, why am I here? I've already kind of figured that out. But why am I here is to discover more about wisdom, is to discover more about the spirit, is to discover more about the universe, instead of just, this little meat bag in this one self. Okay, let me continue. Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, had a companion owl on her shoulder, which revealed unseen truths to her. Owl had the ability to light up Athena's blind side, enabling her to speak the whole truth as opposed to only a half truth. Now, this is what I'm kind of getting from the universe right now about why am I reading this owl magic to you, is because in the asking of the universe, you can ask owl if you think you're being deceived, if you think there's, something amiss, and you need a little help. So it's like in the Catholic religion, Michelle says, I read Hawkeye's mind. Good for you. Many of you have, and we continue to. But anyway, in this universe of connectivity, what we need to understand is that we can call upon the owl medicine, like the Catholics prayed it was saint. Now, I would consider that owl medicine is a lot more organic and more universal than like St. Thomas or something. Just saying. Hey, David Castle, Teresa, Brandy, I think I missed saying hi to you. Michelle, if I missed somebody, I think I did, actually. Let me come up and greet you all appropriately. Alex, I think I said hi to you. Robert V, if y'all are still here, it is a great honor, and I am humbled that you folks hang out with me. I could go on and be mushy, but it's just not necessary. But thank you all. If owl is your personal medicine, no one can deceive you about what they are doing. No matter how they try to disguise or hide it from you, you may be a little frightening. You may be a little frightening to be around by other people, since so many people have ulterior motives which you can see right through. If you are unaware of your medicine power, you may take your keen insights and abilities for granted. We should never take our gifts for granted. We should always say thank you to the universe for what we have learned and what we feel. Others never do. You may frighten them and reflect their blindness. So many of you, we've talked about this in the chat and so forth, and in on the live streams, about how we try to tell people the truth and they just won't hear it. We're crazy, we're the nutty people, the drill, right? So we have, many of us, whether we know it or not, sort of have owl medicine anyway, because we can see through the deception. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So owl medicine people know more about an individual's inner life than that person knows about herself or himself. Now, that's sometimes true. I can look at some people and tell, but you have to be careful that sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. I know that there are people, and I used to be one of them, in that when I went to town, I couldn't be that hippie guy, especially when I worked at the theater. So I had to put on that professional look and everything. When I come home, I throw my shoes off and I go barefoot and run around in the. So, but many people never saw that part of me. They only saw the part of me that went to town. So was I lying to people? No, but I played enough of their game that I was accepted. Because if I tried to be myself around some of these people, I tried that, didn't work. So although I played my own character, Hawkeye was here at the house, but I was David Null everywhere and was respected with what I did and so forth. And that's all that really mattered, Now it says, if you have pulled the owl card, which I sort of did today, you are being asked to use your powers of keen, silent observance to intuit to understand some life situation. Owl is befriending you and aiding you in seeing the total truth. Owl can bring you messages in the night through dreams or meditation. Pay attention to the signals and omens. The truth always brings further enlightenment. And I found this interesting because I picked up the card and it was with Robert V and Crystal and I can't remember who else. But anyway, in the Milky Way tribe tonight. So is this synchronicity some more, So I kind of thought it was, hey, Delaney, how are you? I think I said hi to David Castle. If I didn't, hi, David, I'm sorry. If you have, now this here's the contrary. Now the card was right side up, but I always read the contrary because sometimes there's a message in that as well. If you have owl upside down in your cards, you have been greatly deceived by either yourself or another. Perhaps witchcraft or black magic is being used against you. Or maybe you are using witchcraft or sorcery to aid you when you should be praying and asking the Great Spirit for guidance. Now, let me just elaborate just a little bit on that. Now, there are folks who, and I was one of them. Trying to practice white magic. And the true magic comes from the heart. It's not about a bunch of written down words. It is how you speak what's on your heart at the time of the ceremony or what you wish. Now, if you're trying to influence another person in any way, you're going to know, because you have to draw upon something that changes their will. Your heart song. Thank you, Teresa. Um, did I say hi, Brandy? Hi, Brandy. But the thing is that people are looking, to certain things, and I'm guilty of this, of repeating the same thing, a mantra over and over. Well, now I do believe that repeating something over and over, I wish peace upon the earth. 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 But and that mantra can be very simple. I still often say the Hail Mary, being an old Catholic, ex-Catholic, and sometimes I feel um, uh, a connection to that spirit by saying that prayer. And I don't think Catholic at all. It's my prayer to Mother Mary and my attachment and my story. Other people like you and Mother Mary, I just don't get it. It's a personal thing, and that's okay if you don't. But we ask the Great Spirit for guidance. Now, the Great Spirit is the Akashic Record. It is the universe. The Great Spirit is in all of us and in all things. So when we're asking for Great Spirit, we could be asking the owl spirit that's attached. Or we could be, asking the rabbit, which is another card I want to discuss because it came up quite by accident, but there are no accidents, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, the message is to befriend the darkness inside yourself. To befriend the darkness inside yourself. In other words, if there is a darkness in you, then acknowledge it. And to befriend it, I'm not so sure about that, but I understand what they mean in that sense, is that rather than saying, well, I've got this dark side, well, I've got this secret, thing where I smoke cigarettes in the, in the alley out back, or, pick one. But whatever that darkness may be, maybe it's to hoard chocolate. Who knows? You like McDonald's biscuits or something. But inside yourself. So in learning about yourself, whatever dark secrets we have, and we all got one stuck somewhere. The odds are we all got one. Just saying. It might be, just a teeny one, but we all got a something, right? Hey, Candy Apple. Yep, Candy Apple. I still think about candy apples in the carnival. We made good candy apples. Anyway, so then look deeply, and soon the bright light of dawn will illuminate you. So as owl flies through the darkness, wouldn't they go to the sleep when they see the bright of dawn? Now, I'm too owl-like personally, but that's been my life for a long time. I've always worked second or third shift. But anyway, so then ask yourself what you are in the dark about. Now, that's interesting. Ask yourself why you're in the dark. What am I in the dark for? What is clouding my memory? What is the deceit? Now, the deceit can come in many ways. It can be natural. It can be, we can deceive ourselves. Oh, am I guilty of that one? We can deceive ourselves into believing something, So are we believing in something because others are, applying that pressure? Or are, just saying, it's that peer pressure, it's the media, it's other people in the, there are people in I won't say necessarily in this spirit community, but in the spiritual community, who after many years are still discussing hogwash. They have not progressed, in my humble opinion, the least bit. They're going back over stuff. Now, I have a tendency to like discuss things, but I try to bring them forward and make it relevant. Now, these folks are just more pissed off. They're not any more enlightened. If anything, they're more angry. Like maybe their search for the knowledge didn't fulfill them somehow. And and I've seen many YouTube channels and folks that I started watching many years ago, and were asking questions, tried to participate in the chat, and I realized that I actually had as much to say as some of them folk. Not to be bragging, but I was like, these people are talking lies over here. Oh, they're the magical thingy and the blah blah blah. And I'm like, hang on, there are magical things, but like my discussion about sigils. For God's sake, don't do a sigil. Please don't do a sigil. Now, here I will retract that up to this point. There are times when you could draw something in the sand, like those monks who do the sand art, but then it gets swept away. So it's only good for that moment. So you could draw something in the sand and then scratch it out. But the thing is, if you don't know, none of us know enough about sigils to go messing with it. So if it's something that you're not sure of, don't do it, please, for your own safety. It's not going to matter. Well, it does matter to me because I don't want to see you harmed. Okay. So back to the owl. So you ask yourself, what are you in the dark about? Now, I can't answer that, but we all have a tendency, slightly slanted sleuth, to be deceived. And I've been in the dark about certain things because I just don't want to know about all this 19 stuff, and people are keeping up with this and then that and the blah, blah, blah. And I just, keeping up with all this trash on Facebook and who is this and what's that and who said what today and who misconstrued. Oh, crap. Now I keep my eyes on the headlines and but the thing is I realized that I used to dive in a lot deeper. And now it's like, it's useless because next week, none of it's going to really matter because it's all going to change again. Like last night's video, and thank you, Al, for giving me the kudos. But the idea, though, that, this ever-changing picture, this ever-changing puzzle that we're trying to, fit ourselves into, the best we can do is stay protected, keep our eye out, and like Al today, or last night, well, it was today, actually, early this morning. And so, yesterday, it's now 12:13 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in South Georgia. And I welcome you to Saturday. Hope you had a great week, as much as it could be. But back to this. How and by whom are you being deceived? How or by whom? Now, the whom could be a person. It could be, depending on who you are, Saturday Night Live early. We're the early edition of Saturday Night Live. Actually, it's Saturday Morning Live. Just saying. But thank you, slightly slanted sleuth. S. Are you being greatly deceived or just slightly deceived? So somebody might be telling you a half-truth, but you get the feeling they ain't saying everything. So now what's really bad about that is you can feel they're not telling you the truth. So your brain starts wanting to conjure up, I wonder what it could be. Well, maybe they don't like me. Maybe they don't like the color of my, anyway. Tanya, hello. Just listen to yourself and you trust. Yeah, just breathe. Depends on where you are. If you're sitting next to a dumpster, it's hard to breathe. But anyway, are you being greatly deceived or slightly? And the whom is could be, the media, the thing, politics, it could be anything. It could be companies trying to sell you a bill of goods. So anyway, the deception. Al tells you to keep an eye on your property and your loved ones. Remember that Al is always asking, who? 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 Now, I would also add that to why, but, although owls don't only say who, they do this squawking thing that gets really loud, especially when 2 or 3 of them are back here talking to each other. it gets really loud, the squawking. I mean, you can hear it up and down the, it echoes up and down the swamp, And so now that's the medicine card version of owl. So I decided that because it seemed to be a big message, I would look um, in my Animal Speaks book about the same thing. So symbolic qualities of birds, for example, since we're on owls, owl is silent wisdom and nocturnal vision, healing powers and magical. So that's a possibility. Those are characteristics. Now, see, these are things that I got another place mark. Hang on, y'all. Oh, I wanted to add this sort of to the training, if you will. Now, the different directions have different characteristics, okay? So I just wanted to kind of give you an overdraft of this. It does have to do with the whole shaman thing. Because if you want wisdom or knowledge or whatever, then you would face the direction in which you want it. Okay. And I've noticed over the years that in particular does seem to help, especially when you put forth that thing. Now, what does it mean in the universe? I'm not quite sure, but there does seem to be some sort of attachment. So let me share this with you. To the east is healing, creativity, illumination. Now, why east? Because it's the morning sun, it's coming up, and even the moon coming up. So it's something, illumination. It's been dark and the sun is coming up. So illumination, looking east, that sort of makes sense. Okie doke. So just saying. Divination and intuition, new birth, sunshine, new learnings, strength of will, communication, and expression of new. Now, with that said, you don't have to necessarily be looking east at sunrise. So anything I say, I'm careful how I use this, but whatever you may wish for as far as gaining insight to the universe, facing east in the middle of the night is the same as facing it at sunrise. Now, the sun rising and all that, there's cosmic energy. Okay, I don't want, but there are some who would say, well, I'll have to wait till sunrise. No, facing east, that's the direction. Okay, west, vision, dreams, quests, journeys, emotions, imagination, creative arts, the feminine, higher, compassion, inner spiritual renewal, and goals. Now, why? Think about it. As the sun goes down, the day's ending, you reflect on things. And so, and in the visions and the dreams, because that's about when I wake up. But most folks, they're going to go into the sleep stage and the dreams and the, quest, journeys, emotions, imagination, creative arts. I've always been more creative at night than I have during the daytime. Many people will talk about that. There are some writers who swear that from 11 to 3 in the morning is like the best time to write. I find that interesting myself. Okay, the South, purification, faith, strength, awakening, inner child, overcoming obstacles, playfulness, change, protection, self-sufficiency, trust, and resurrection. Now, this book was written quite a few years ago. Okay, I've had it for going on 30 years. So, South is self-sufficiency. Now, interesting, in the world of things, my house is a passive solar house. Guess where it faces? South. Self-sufficiency. Just saying. All right. And so the directions were known, that natives never picked the north side of the mountain in a cave. They always pick them on the south side. Why? It was warmer. But so the north, teaching, abundance, balance, sacred wisdom, and knowledge, gentleness, thankfulness, drawing forth inner treasures, empathetic intuition, trust, and alchemy. So I was taught that certain animals, certain birds reside in the north. And so if you wanted to know sacred wisdom, you would pray to you would sit outside and face north and direct those um, intentions and your intuitions. Let's see, was there anything else about that particular? No, but then I wanted to go and read about owl in the um, hang on, I had it marked. Yes. And as we know, it's Hi Project Sky Falls. Tanya, I think I said hi. Okay. So we pretty much talked about, all religions and everything, to the early Christians, Gnostics, it is associated with Lilith, the first wife of Adam, who refused to be submissive to him. To the Pawnee, it was a symbol of protection. To the Ojibwa, it was a symbol of evil and death. Owl. To the Pueblo, it was associated with the skeleton man, the god of death, but who was also a spirit of fertility. Owl medicine is symbolically associated with clairvoyance, astral projection, and magic, both black and white. Now, these are separate books written by separate people at separate times. So, but the basic understanding of what owl and many of these things. So my point that I made almost 30 minutes ago. To the ancient Greeks, the owl was associated with the goddess Athena, and it was a symbol of higher wisdom. It was the guardian of the Acropolis. The owl is a symbol of the feminine, the moon, full moon, which we're almost at. It has been called a cat with wings. I know I've read this before, but it has been worshipped as an idol and hated as the reincarnation of the devil. It has been believed to have great healing powers, both in North America and other continents. Because of its association with the moon, it has ties to fertility and seduction. For the moon is the the moon is the arouser of men and owls. The owl is the bird of magic and darkness, of prophecy and wisdom. So many superstitions and beliefs have come to be associated with owls. Owls have been thought of as the reincarnation of the dead. I've not heard that. But I have heard that the owls will bring portents from the dead. They're harbingers or whatever. So, are they the dead? In Wales, the owl has come to be associated with fertility. If heard near a pregnant girl, it indicates an easy birth. The most predominant is that the owl being able to extract secrets. A flying cat. There's my flying cat, says Brandy. Yeah. It is believed in ancient Rome that that to place a feather or part of an owl on a sleeping person would enable you to discover his or her secrets. This is all tied to one of its keynotes, especially when we look at it, acute vision and hearing. The owl, the bird of the night, can teach all of its secrets of the night. These secrets involve everything that transpires when the sun is gone. Interesting. Owls are the eyes of the night, and they can see what is not in the open. They have secret knowledge that they can share. Their medicine can extract secrets. Like humans, they blink by closing the upper eyelids, giving them a human expression, which has added to the mystics of owls. Unlike humans, though, their eyes cannot move. Their necks are flexible, giving them a wide range of peripheral vision. They cannot turn their heads completely around, but they do move it. It looks like they turn their head around. I'll tell you what, if your neck is stiff and inflexible, you are hindering your perceptions to a great degree. Now, you've heard me talk about our peripheral vision and that it's important that we develop our peripheral vision. And by doing so, we can expand our spiritual peripheral. So I can see my hands on either side here, okay, and still looking at the screen because I have become aware of my peripheral vision. Now, many people don't see much beyond like right here. You know, they don't see off to either side. And in the woods, you learn to be able to look behind you. It's the perception, it's the feeling of things. You know, if you hear the smell of something, you can walk through an area that's been marked by an animal and go, whoa, wonder who's been through here. But anyway, so it's all of the senses. But anyway, so with owl, there are these many things that are associated with the bird. Owls, like hawks and other birds of prey, have a third eyelid. This reticulated eyelid moves from side to side. It cleanses the eye. I did not know that. And I've read this many times over the years. Many owls do not build nests. They will lay eggs in the forks of trees or use abandoned nests of other birds. Because they often have unusual nesting procedures, it's not uncommon to find owlets and fledglings at the base of a tree where they have fallen out. Okay, the rest is about owls and their prey and so forth. But I was nicknamed Hawkeye a long time ago, and then in 2013, with a shaman medicine man, he sort of anointed me through a ceremony in a sweat lodge as my shaman name as well. Because a lot of times the shaman will name you. And during this, I was like, you know, I feel like I've already been named. And for slightly slanted off. Okay, blessings, greetings, till later. So owl is the lunar, the nighttime, and hawk is solar in the daytime. So I've got Hawkeye as my daytime and owl as my nighttime. And you know, here's my owl, one of my owl feathers here, you know, that consequently is in the book on owl and about the owl. So but I don't want to go any more with the owl. But the thing is that I think that the message about this in particular is the basic fact that there's so much deception going on. And we can, if you got an owl feather, then maybe just holding it and say, you know, I need to know the truth. Help me to see through the veil of stupidity. Now, one big note about this, if you're having issues with deception, and it's a person, for example, don't try to make your question big. If you can say, is John deceiving me? I don't know about if he used my car or not. I don't know. Just something, you know, whatever it is. Don't ask, am I, it has to be a narrow thing. So the first thing you could say or ask about is my friend John deceiving me? And just don't question about yes or no or what it is, or don't get tangled up in it. Ask a simple question to the universe, because it's a whole lot easier to get an answer than a complicated one. Because then the next thing you can ask is, then, first off, is he deceiving me? And then you can be more specific with the second question. But you want to know whether or not you're being deceived. And there could be a lot of deception. It may be something. I know I've had folks who like were off put by me. And once I got to sit down and to talk with them, they were like, well, you're not really this person that everybody told me about. It's like, well, who told you what about me? What? Well, in the past, there were folks who, quite frankly, were jealous of my talent. And I'm just me, right? But, playing music or doing theater or puppetry, and, and the fame that I acquired as it was with traveling around and doing puppets. Of course, I was known in 3 states. So, and throughout the library system here in Georgia and parts of Florida. But the idea, though, and was sanctioned by them, that I was like a good guy and not a pedophile or nothing. And so the librarians voted on me. But anyway, but the idea that people will discuss you and then form an opinion, and having never actually had contact with you. So when I was like, listen, you seem off put by me. Is there something? Can we have a chat here? I mean, I don't understand where I'm getting this stuff from. And so what I thought it wasn't, but it was sort of close. So our brains can dream up all kinds of stuff. So we must be careful. If you want to know, well, is somebody deceiving me? Oh, they're lying to me. Oh, they're covering up something. Just calm down, because you have to narrow things down. And I was one of them that went off half-cocked in my earlier days. Oh boy. Because I knew something was wrong. And when they wouldn't tell me, then I would press, well, what's wrong with you? How come you can't tell me? And they would like, well, that's none of your business. Leave me alone. And then it just made it worse. But whatever, then finding out later on, it had nothing to do with what I thought it was. Boy, was I wrong on many occasions, right? The deception had nothing to do with me per se. I was only slightly attached to it, in that they didn't want me to know because I might say something or interfere, But anyway, so to the point of that, though, deception. So I think the message of Al is something that, especially recently, we need to keep an owl feather around, or at least in our head. Now, next, I was randomly picking and spreading out the cards over here on the table and squashing them around. And I was going to shuffle them and then pick a card. And I was like, no, don't do that. Because you don't know if you're going to pick, if you make sure they're all in the right order, meaning up, straight up or not, you can influence what the cards say or what you're trying to find out. So my instruction, and they're all spread out over here on this table, spread out in a way that if they want me to have a card, I can pick it, but I don't know if it's right side up or not. So my answer, or the card that I want. So in my first pick, just as I was starting this video, rabbit comes up. Now, I thought, well, I don't know, but if I should read the read about the rabbit or not. But I realized that it was a card that was stuck on the bottom, and I was like, okay, if you want me to have a card, which one would you choose? Which one would you want me to pick? And they said, this one down there. So I pulled it. It's the rabbit. And it was up because they were sideways. So it could have been the downside. But anyway, so with that, and the fact that, the synchronicity of things is like, well, let's have a chat about this. Should I read this about the rabbit or not? And I think the answer is, yep, we should, because it was coinciding with me setting this up and doing the owl. Okay. So I didn't open this up earlier. I started this video. Scared little rabbit, please drop your fright. Running doesn't stop the pain, nor turn the dark to night, to light, excuse me, nor turn the dark to light. Now, this is number 30. It says, in the book, well, you can't really see that because of the, anyway, at the top it says fear. So where I was going, maybe I won't read this. Well, wait a minute. Fear. Aren't we all living in fear along with the deception and the things? And so maybe this card I pulled earlier was on purpose. And so in my getting ready and getting coffee and everything, I sent my prayer out and said, I was thinking about doing, and not tonight, but another time, I promise I will. Yeah, some rabbit holes we do need to go down. That's absolutely true. But in the rabbit hole theory, sometimes we go down a rabbit hole, we can't see anything else but the rabbit hole. So it obscures the rest of our vision. That's that also. So we won't be fooled again. Hopefully, So anyway, fear. So a long time ago, what I was going to say about the cards, I was thinking that I would do individual cards, like Teresa, if you said pick a card for me, or Brandy, or Michelle, or Tanya. Hi, Tanya, if I didn't say hi. But I realized that no, and so my prayer earlier before I started the video, and I lit some sage and, just asked the universe, let me choose cards that will mean something to the whole group. Not just a single person, not that that's not important, but that this tonight should be just, let's choose the cards. Now, I'm going to choose, I always try to choose 3 cards. So you all, after I read about Rabbit, you all are going to help me choose the 3rd card. So it's going to be our card. I chose the first 2. Well, actually, Owl chose it. But now Rabbit was my first, intuition about this. So with y'all's help, we're going to think about the 3rd card. But, you guys are participating in how the 3rd card comes up. Just saying, this is rather than picking individual cards. Now, another time, I would like to try my hand at doing a card reading like over the internet. I've not done that. I've done card readings for people over the phone and who have come to visit or something like that, but not on the internet. I'm just kind of a little, I don't know, unsure of myself, I guess, because it's not really me that's picking them. And it's the universe that's calling out, and I have to trust that ability. But, to do something personal for someone, I have always been a little leery. Okay, with that said, but maybe one day we'll get together and I'll do readings for you if you so desire. Rabbit, fear. A long time ago, no one really knows how long ago it was, Rabbit was a brave and fearless warrior. Then some of the stories, Rabbit is said to have swam to an island and helped to bring fire back to the mainland. Just saying. Rabbit was befriended by Eye Walker, a witch. The witch and Rabbit spent much time together, sharing and talking. The two were very close. One day, Eye Walker and Rabbit were walking along, and they sat down on the trail to rest. Rabbit said, "I'm thirsty." Eye Walker picked up a leaf, blew on it, and then handed Rabbit a gourd of water. Rabbit drank the water but didn't say a word. Then Rabbit said, "I'm hungry." Eye Walker picked up a stone, blew on it, and changed it into a turnip. She gave the turnip to Rabbit to eat. Rabbit tasted it and then ate the turnip with relish. Or maybe he just liked it. There's nothing, I put relish on it? Never. I'm kidding. But still Rabbit didn't say anything. The two continued along the trail which led into the mountains. Near the top, Rabbit tripped and fell and rolled almost all the way to the bottom. Rabbit was in a very sad condition when Eyewalker got back down to it. She used the magic salve on Rabbit to heal his great pain and mend his broken bones. Rabbit didn't say anything. Several days later, Eyewalker went searching for her friend. She searched high and low, but Rabbit was nowhere to be found. Finally, Eyewalker gave up. She met Rabbit quite by accident one day, and Rabbit said, "Why are you hiding and avoiding me?" The witch asked. "Because I am afraid of you. I am afraid of magic," said Rabbit. "Leave me alone." "I see," said Eyewalker. "I have used my magical powers on your behalf, and now you turn on me and refuse my friendship." Rabbit said, "I want nothing more to do with you or your powers." Rabbit did not even see the tears his words were bringing to Eyewalker's eyes. "I hope we never meet again and that I never see you again," Rabbit continued. "Rabbit," said Eyewalker, "we once were great friends and companions, but no more. It is within my power to destroy you. But because of the past and the medicines we have shared together, I will not do this. But from this day forward, I lay a curse on you and your tribe. From now on, you will call your fears, and your fears will come to you. Be on your way, for the sweet medicine that binds us together as friends are now broken." Now Rabbit is the fear caller. He goes out and shouts, "Eagle, I am so afraid of you." If Eagle doesn't hear him, Rabbit calls out louder, "Eagle, stay away from me." Eagle, now hearing the rabbit, comes and eats him. Rabbits call bobcats, wolves, coyotes, and even snakes until they come. As this story shows, rabbit medicine people are so afraid of tragedy, illness, disaster, and being taken. Possession, aliens, okay? That they call these very fears to them and teach them lessons. So if you're afraid of the water, like I'm afraid of spiders, but there are spiders all over the house, And thank goodness, because if I didn't, when I look around at all the bugs that they eat, I'd have a bug problem. So I've learned to live with the spiders. But the idea is, see, that Rabbit is afraid of everything. So he calls out. So with us, we can say, well, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of the 19. I'm afraid of the vaccine. I'm afraid of, driving my car, and I'm afraid of going to town. I'm afraid. That's me. So in our fears, the more we call upon them, the more our fears come to us and the more they affect us. So with all the deceit, piggybacking what Al said, piggybacking with this now, we can see that our fears, are we calling our fears to us? Because now, first off, they show us something in this great changing puzzle. And they say, okay, now, here's the chaos. Here's our next fear. So if we're Rabbit, we're going to continue on going, oh, I'm fear. Good night, Candy. Good night, love, family. Got mom done and now going to bed myself. Blessings to you all and sleep well. Sweet dreams. But so with the Rabbit, now I'm not saying that we are living in fear, but yes, we are living in fear. Hi, Maverick. How are you? So, but they're putting the fears out there. Like I said last night in the puzzle piece thing, the universe, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't. And tomorrow may bring a really crappy fear. The hurricane's coming up towards Florida. Some people are going to be affected by the storm, one way or the other, whether it's the rain or wind or electricity. Somebody's going to be affected. Okay? It's a given. So now what we can do is we can pray and hope that folks will be protected and they'll find shelter or something like that. But can we do anything about the storm? Now, if a bunch of us thought about it, we may be able to push it offshore, but we still can't um, stop 30 inches of rain if it decides to do so, because there are other forces at work, is the reason I'm saying that. Some of these folks are controlling this weather, and we can pray on it all we want to. And we're going to have a harder time, not to say that we can't, it's just going to be a lot more difficult. We can pray to the folks that are doing it to stop doing it. We'd be better. That would make better sense than trying to stop the storm. You follow my point of view on that? Okay. Because it's less energy, fewer people, anyway. So rabbit, fear. So every day is a new rabbit story for us, all right? To project our fears and how are we going to handle this? And so the keynote here is what you resist will persist. Think about it. If you resist facing a fear, it'll stick with you, right? Boy, it took me a long time to learn some of these lessons. You have a frequency tarot deck. Truth in me. Yep. Good. And I use these very carefully. I don't like other folks handling them or whatever, but I'm very careful with trying to speak to the spirits, if you will. So I try to do things in a general term. But this lesson of the fear thing, it really does sort of coincide with what I picked as the owl. Now, y'all, in a minute, we're going to pick another card. So the keynote here is what you resist will persist. If what you fear the most is what you will become. Interesting. Here is the lesson. If you pulled the rabbit, stop talking about horrible things happening and get rid of the what if in your vocabulary. Well, what if that storm comes and wipes out Florida? Well, what if? This card may signal a time of worry about the future or of trying to exercise your control over that which is not yet in form. In other words, well, this storm's coming up and it might hit Georgia and we might get some rain and we might. It hasn't transpired yet. So we're worrying and I'm actually creating a fear that the storm will come. So that's like calling an eagle to come eat me. You're trying to exercise your control over that which is not yet in form, the future. So stop it. That's what it says. Stop now. Write your fears down and be willing to feel them. Breathe into them and feel them running through your body into Mother Earth as a giveaway. Now, I disagree with putting a lot of stuff into Mother Earth. She's got a lot going on. But you can release the energy to the universe, a fear or whatever. But the thing is that if you're allowing the fear to continue, and they keep putting fears on us, so every day we're going to be facing a little bit of something new. So we just need to keep an eye on stuff. Now, the contrary of rabbit, the paralyzed feeling which rabbit experiences when being stalked is rabbit in the contrary position. If you have tried to resolve a situation in your life and are unable to do so, you may be feeling frozen in motion. So I know that I have felt like stagnant, frozen. What do I do next? I mean, seriously, because it's like the things are changing so much. What do I do next? So, but I chose this card upright this time. But anyway, this could indicate a time to wait for the forces of the universe to start moving again. Let me repeat that. This could indicate a time to wait for the forces of the universe to start moving again. It could also indicate the need to stop and take a rest. Now, the whole planet is doing that right now. It will always indicate a time when you need to reevaluate the process you are undergoing and to rid yourself of any negative feelings. So, what have we been talking about on Milky Soul Tribe and for myself and things? Is that the fear and and the negative feelings? We've got to be the frequency we wish to receive. So Rabbit here, this seemed now, even though it's the contrary, that's why I read them both, because it seems to me that in this there are parts of the fear that is true in the upright position, but also in the contrary. I know myself, and some of you have kind of felt, I know Teresa says, yes, numb, stuck. Exactly. Many of us have felt stuck. And whether it's the energy or the frequency or something like that. So the meaning of rabbit in this sense, both sides apply, in my opinion. But now here's the thing. If we're stuck, then we can realize, you know what? By golly, we're all stuck. You know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, but my intent is to become unstuck. What am I going to do about it? Don't know, but I want to be unstuck. That's all. So tomorrow, if it's not raining or thunderstorms or whatever, like it's been the last couple of days, and it's been a really good excuse to stay inside, although it's hot as hell, and the heat index is like 104. Holy crap. And it was several years ago at this time of the year that I went down on the river and spent those 3 days, talking with the spirits in 104-degree weather. It was 104. It wasn't feels like temperature. It was 104. So, hopefully it won't be like that. But I feel gone back down to the river, not to the same spot, but to go down to the river and kind of sort of give homage, I guess, to thank God I'm still here or whatever. But anyway. So let me continue on with Rabbit, and then I'm going to pick the third card. All right. I hope you're getting something out of this, folks. It will always indicate a time when you need to reevaluate the process you are undergoing and to rid yourself of any negative feelings, barriers, or duress. Simply put, you cannot have your influence felt until you rearrange your way of seeing the present set of circumstances. Now, that is some wisdom right there. Simply put, you cannot have your influence felt. So we all want to make a change and to manifest a better tomorrow. But our influence won't be felt until we rearrange our way of seeing the present set of circumstances. And if the present set of circumstances keeps evolving and changing and is that kaleidoscope that's a little hard to keep up with, then we're having to reevaluate it on a daily basis. And so that puts duress and fear and, so the biggest thing is to be aware of it. Guess what? And we're all going through the same thing. But in our own ways, we're all seeking the same thing. We're seeking light and frequency and understanding. We're seeking truth from the universe, how we do it and what we do. Some of us put out warnings out there like sigils. Don't do it. Now, as I brought up sigils in this particular thing, I have used runes in the past, and rune reading can be very I was going to use the word profitable, but I don't mean that as like in a monetary way, but can be profitable in what you read. Same thing with the cards. But now here's one of the things that I want, and this has to do with deception and fear, okay? And it's related to the two cards that I pulled tonight, getting ready for the third. And that is in doing tarot or even these cards, to use them all the time and to like, well, I want to know what tomorrow's going to, I wonder how this is going to go. And I wonder blah, 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 blah. You're putting your faith in the cards instead of putting your faith in the universe. Because I've seen some folks who got so involved in the cards that I was like, the cards told you to do what? No, 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 don't do that. But the cards have said blah blah blah. I'm sorry, but my common sense says you're full of shit. Don't do that. Or don't go. Are you sure you want to go down that road? Well, yeah, because the cards told me. Beware. There are influence. People say, well, I'm doing these readings and I'm in touch with my spirit guide. The more you do it, the more you are susceptible to other energies influencing them damn cards. And I've seen people influenced over them, and sometimes their card readings were like right on the numbers. And then there were times when I was like, where did you make up this shit? Excuse my French, but where did you get this crap from? I'm in hindsight, I found a reading somebody did for me years ago, and I looked at the reading and read it, I don't know, a few months back, and I looked at it and said, this thing was so bloody wrong. I don't think there was anything in this reading that they gave me. And there was like 3 or 4 pages of stuff and this. They went to a lot of trouble to do this reading. And it was no more accurate than the man in the moon. I mean, seriously. And I trusted this person, and I was like, and she did readings for other people. And so many people said they were accurate. And mine was just dead flat ass wrong. And I'm like, and even after all these years of going back and reading it, I was like, none of this actually came true. I could kind of stretch a little bit and go, well, that's sort of true, but it really wasn't. So had I followed that and read it, the spirit world would have influenced my thought pattern, and whatever had happened in that reading could have actually transpired. I could have brought it forth. And so I was doing rune readings all the times. I mean, once a day, sometimes twice a day. And I was doing crystal readings with the pendulum and stuff like that. Like a lot of people use the rods. And I've seen some of these rods that are made out of steel. Don't work. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work for me. I can get 2 pieces of copper wire and they work. But just saying, buyer beware. If it's not copper, if you buy those wands or whatever and they're made out of steel, send them back. Send them back. Get your money back. But anyway, and you don't have to make them. You just get 2 pieces of wire, copper wire, and you can pick it up out of the junkyard, something, blah, 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 and just turn them into an L. Now, there is sort of a mathematical thing to it. It's that whatever you're holding in your hand, the length needs to be at least twice. So if you've got 4 inches here, then it needs to be at least 8 inches out the front. It's sort of a 2 to 1. But it needs to be longer than shorter as far as the pieces sticking out in front. And anyway, so back to the card reading. All right, so be careful. Anybody who's doing the reading, if you're using the cards, there are times when you may not know it, but you need to put them down. And as much as you say, well, I need to go pick up my card, put them down. Because sometimes there are other forces and influences, and a lot of times it's yourself. You become addicted to wanting to know the future. And I wanted to know the future back in the day. And when I saw it and it was shown to me, and so literally and graphically, and I can still hear the screaming of the people burning. And, I saw that. I've discussed it before, and I did it a couple of years ago when I had that dream about the volcano that burned all those people. And 4 or 5 hours later, that was down in Guatemala. And the volcano went off and killed all those people. And it was right where I was looking. Creeped me out. I could still hear the people screaming and everything. It's horrible. Do you want to know the future? Be careful. I would ask you to if you are in tune with the spirit and in tune with owl and in tune with certain things, you don't have to understand it all to be able to see, you know what, I see a warning sign over here, I should be careful, whatever that may be. So, but to use the cards all the time, I'm just saying it's just an opinion. But now tonight I've asked the spirits to help me out, and I'm getting ready to pick the third card. So how should we do this? I want to say that we. Hello, Aurora. I didn't see you come in. There you are. Truth in Me, Michelle, Brandy, Maverick. Okay, yeah, it's good to see everybody. So, I was trying to think that like a subject. Um, so here's my thing. Y'all listening? Okay, pay attention for the next minute. Quit saying hi to everybody because I want to pick the third card. I'm being rude here. No, I'm not. But let's all think of just one thing. And here's the mantra. I want us to think on pick a card that will help us all. That's the mantra. So versus, is it going to rain tomorrow? Is the hurricane going to, let's just all y'all just stop and think for a moment. Send it out to the, pick a card that will help us all. You got that? All right. I'm going to give you all a minute because of time lag and stuff. Y'all think about me picking a card that will help us all. And they're kind of sort of having me pick one over here. Let me see. I'm going to go fiddle with it. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Bob, thank you so much. Here's some coffee and we what? Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm getting the tingly. Incoming message from the big giant head. Okay, there's a spot over here that has sort of been annoying me. I'm literally tactile, like, okay, which one of these cards? Okay, so they're spread out on the table. And I think they want me to have this one in this direction. So y'all get to see it before I do. Coyote. Whoa, that's a coyote. And it was straight up. And the number on the card is 13. Just saying. Now, y'all help me pick this. So let's find out what coyote has to say. Now, see, if I had my pipe, I'd be like putting it full of stuff and smoking it. I mean, tobacco-wise. In some instances, coyote is considered a trickster. Oh, there you go. Trickster. Right. Page number 13. Coyote. You devil. You tricked me once more. Must I sit and ponder what you did it for? Trickster. Coyote. There are thousands of myths and stories about coyote. Yep, Wile E. Coyote. Exactly, Michelle. And in Tiny Toon Adventures, they got a little coyote guy. He's really funny. Anyway, I love Tiny Toon Adventures and all them guys. But back to this. Many native cultures call coyote the medicine dog. If you have pulled this card, you can be sure that some kind of medicine is on its way. And you may or may not be to your liking. Whatever the medicine is, good or bad, you can be sure it will make you laugh, maybe even painfully. Roadrunner. See, I'm reading this and you guys are responding, so we're connected somehow. Now let's see what this all means to us. You can also be sure that coyote will teach you a lesson about yourself. Coyote has many magical powers, but they do not always work in his favor. Wily. His own trickery fools him. He is the master trickster who tricks himself. So, like I was kind of saying with the cards earlier, before I picked this card, we can trick ourselves into believing that the cards are always right and a thing, and we need to just saying. So I picked this interesting correlation, synchronicity. He is the master trickster who tricks himself. No one is more astonished than Coyote at the outcome of his own tricks. Isn't Wiley always like, what the hell? You know, that face before he falls down the cliff, you know. He falls into his own trap. I can't sorry. And yet he somehow manages to survive. Okay. He may be banged and bruised by experience, but he soon goes on his way to even greater error. Acme Company, forgetting to learn from his mistakes. He may have lost the battle, but he is never beaten. Interesting. Let me get it something to drink. But so now y'all help me pick this card now. I am not taking blame for this. And I searched through the pile too. There is this other one that I'm going to pull. Oh, and I got it upside down. And it's the ant. It was the other one that was calling me. So I'm going to read about the ant when I get done with this, because I was like, which one? But Coyote, anyway. Coyote is sacred. In the folly of his acts, we can see our own foolishness. As Coyote moves from one disaster to the next, he refines the art of self-sabotage to sheer perfection. Now, there are times, and it's the fear, and this is related to the rabbit, I swear to goodness, in that rabbit is fearful. So he's always calling eagle to come eating, and where Coyote, there's got to be a lesson in this, that where Coyote is always tricking himself into the next disaster. You know, what does this mean to us? We say, no one can blindly do themselves or others in more grace and ease than this holy trickster. In other words, he can trick himself into falling off a cliff and thinking it was the right thing to do, right? Just saying. The art of self-sabotage to a sheer perfection. Coyote takes himself so seriously at times that he cannot see the obvious. For example, the steamroller that is about to run him over. That is why when it hits him, he cannot believe that it hit him. Was that really a steamroller? I better go look, he says, and he's run over by it once again. Now it's in the book. Contained within trickster medicine is the humor of the ages. The cosmic joke is not just on ourselves, but on everyone else. Now, everybody's wearing the mask thing, and is that a big cosmic joke? That's my opinion. If we are following Coyote or have strong Coyote medicine, someone like this may be able to convince others that a skunk smells like a rose. Now, I've smelled some roses that smelled like skunk, but anyway. But the fact remains that it is still a skunk. Snooze time is over if you have pulled the Coyote medicine card. Watch out. Your glass house may crash to the ground at any moment. Now, y'all help me pick this card now. I'm going to blame it on you. No, all your self-mirrors may shatter. The divine trickster is dogging you, and you may trip. Coyote scratches under his arm. He does a crazy dance. He catches his tail on fire playing with matches. He jumps in the fish pond to save himself and nearly drowned. Coyote seduces a concrete statue. Coyote thinks he has found a bone, but it is a rattlesnake. Everyone watches the comedic scene. Coyote is you, me, booby traps, jet airplanes with toilets that don't work, blind dates, and all the humorous and whimsical things we encounter along life's way. Get ready for more of the laughs. Lots more, but beware. Go immediately underneath the surface of your experiences. Ask yourself what you are really doing it and why. So that would be a rabbit hole, for example. I'm going down this rabbit hole to learn about this. Why? You know what you're doing. You're trying to find self-sabotage. Good, Teresa. And it is. It's self-sabotage, and it said so on the other page. Coyote's great at that. And I sometimes wonder if the person who wrote this, didn't watch some kind of TV, if you know what I mean. And so the references to things about the coyote, but in other books and things about the coyote as the trickster, it's basically the same, but without jet airplanes and Acme Corporation. So is coyotes, ask yourself, what are you really doing and why? So in life and spirituality, are you seeking this for a particular reason? Why are you doing it? It's not that it's wrong, but why? You may be going down a different path. Clean the path like an ant. And I'm going to read the ant card in just a minute. By the way, 17, I didn't say hello to you. Aurora, I think I said hello. But welcome. 3% battery, see the lesson in history is what you make it and not what you see. It's what you was led to. Yep. And if you read the cards all the time, see, I'm looking at these cards now as more of look around and say, okay, what's the universe saying to us? Well, Coyote says there's a lot of crazy crap out there going on, and you gotta laugh. I mean, some of it I just like. It's so moronic. I gotta laugh. It's so sick. It's funny. I've always had a weird sense of humor, but we gotta laugh at some of this stuff. Otherwise, we're just going to get caught up in the chaos and the commotion. But anyway, are you trying to fool an adversary? Is someone tricking you? Well, now I pulled this for all of us, so we know that we're being tricked. And reading about the fear of rabbit. So, do you want to give the office geek the phone number of the beautiful new secretary, or do you want to pull a boner on your best friend? What was the last time you did something just because it was crazy and fun? Now, I got to say that sometimes we just need to be a little crazy and fun. I'm a little cooped up here recently and sort of stuck in a rut, and me and the dog are going to the river one way or the other. On the other hand, you may not be conscious of your own pathway of foolishness. That's true. You may have conned yourself, your family, your friends, or even the public at large into believing that you know what the hell, I added this, know what the hell you are doing. But listen, Coyote, you are balled up in your own machinations. You have created a befuddling, bewildering, confounding trick. Pick up the juggler eyes from the ground and put them back in your sockets. See through the genius of your acts of self-sabotage. Find it amusing and laugh, trickster, laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself and your crazy antics, you have lost the game. Coyote always comes calling when things get too serious. Now, I was called a Heyoki for many, many, many years. And the Heyoki is, by many different traditions and tribes, was the trickster of the tribe. And it could be male or female. But if everybody was too somber, the Heyoki would do something crazy, like, I don't know, put bells on his nose, or he'd do something to, bring to bring the depression up. If folks were too happy, the Heyoki would, bring things back down to where, and consequently, as being a Libra, that I'm always seeking balance. Hey, Deborah, how are you? Um, so in always trying to find the balance, which is what we're all seeking, actually, but here's the thing. Well, here's a question that just kind of popped up, not off topic, not off topic. If we seek balance, can we reach a higher realm? Because if we're balanced, then that means there's just as much good or evil in us. Or, so if our lives are balanced, doesn't that mean we could go either way? So I've thought about this over the years. Hey, yeah, okay, Deborah, yes. But in being balanced, though, does that mean we have received the frequency we want to receive? Because if we want to get rid of the negative, shouldn't the scale then, lighten? You know what I'm saying? So if we get rid of the negative, does that make the scales heavier for the light side? Just, just tossing that out there. So is balance actually really what we want? So if we get rid of all the negative out of our lives, or as much as we possibly can, are we really balanced? Just a question. If you can't, if you have coyote medicine, you may use it to make you may need to do something to lighten up and to add cheer to a party or to break a death grip conversation with ease. Look at the positive side of sabotaging nosy questions about your personal life. Have fun telling some gossips that you just returned from St. Topaz in your new Learjet. In other words, make something up that is so befuddlingly crazy that it's humorous, just to break the anyway, the contrary. If the coyote appears in the reverse position, you can be assured that he is going to be contrary and a pain in your side. Look around yourself and watch which direction he is coming from. If coyote is approaching you from the outside, beware of this master of illusion. Coyote may put you in his spell and take you to a briar patch to pick berries. It will be a painful lesson for you if you follow him. Coyote reverse can appear in your life as a supposed all-knowing teacher, a scam artist. Now, I talked to somebody the other day about a scam artist, but so in some truth, this makes sense. A quick business planner, a rare coin, door-to-door salesperson, blah, blah, blah. Or anybody who wants you to follow their lead. Coyote is not the recommended business partner or lover. Contrary, coyote may signal a time when everything you torch backfires. All your jokes may be exploding in your face. In this reverse position, coyote also signals a time to be aware of the intentions of others. How about that? So we know what our intentions are, but we go meet somebody, we know what the other side of the thing is? And to look for the coyote also signals a time to be aware of the intentions of others and to look for the boomerang you threw at another person coming back to knock you from behind. Someone else's trick may be on you, or there could be deception. What was the thing about the owl? See, these are all tying together. It could be coming from any direction. Remember, this joker is always wild. So there's coyote. Now, as I was saying that there was another, I don't feel another need to pick up another card over there. But ant was upside down, number 32. So, and I saw ant as I was going by when I was reading about the other rabbit. And so here we are back to ant. Now, I considered this one, y'all helped me pull this too, because they were on top of each other, and I didn't know which one to decide on. But it was upside down. But let's read about the ant first. Oh, tiny ant, your patience grows like the sands of time. How can I be like you, or is it too sublime? The ant has patience. Woo! Now, that you just thought that I had planned this. So we go from to looking about deception, facing our fears, and being able to use coyote medicine to laugh at ourselves and to see that we may be tricking ourselves or see through the tricksters. And now Ant wants us to be patient. I don't think I could have written a better, outline for a discussion for tonight. So here we go. Ant can carry a leaf over hundreds of miles just to get it back to the anthill. Ants in Africa will strip a forest bare when food is scarce. If it takes them a year, ants' medicine is the strategy of patience. Oh my God, I got ant beds out here that have been here since I moved here. They were here before me, and I'm still fighting them. Ant is a builder like beaver, is aggressive like a badger, has stamina like elk, scrutiny like mouse, and give away like turkey. Every ant in an anthill is part of the ant group mind, as all the ants work for the queen and the hive. Self-sacrifice is a part of ant medicine. Greater than ants' other medicines, however, is patience. Ant people are active, community-minded folks. Here we are, Soul Tribe. So here's the ant card to wrap up a 4-card layout. Ant people are more active, community-minded folks who see the greater future needs of their town. Ant people are planners. Like squirrel, they are content to see their dreams being built a little at a time. In today's society, that is a rare quality. In the desert, one type of ant will burrow a conical hole with its apex at the bottom. The ant will cover itself and patiently wait for some unsuspecting insect to fall in. As the sand crumbles, the prey eventually falls to the bottom, only to find ants' open jaws. Patience does have its rewards. Ant people have a knowing about the sweet victory at the end of the line. There is never a concern about going without. If they are late for the opening of a sale, if what they want is sold out, they are sure that something equal or better is available. When I said this in a video recently where, there's a place where they were giving out food, and I learned that it was better to be the last person in line than it was to be the first person in line. Gia Ant, hey y'all, we're reading about ants. Hey, good to see you. You'll have to go back and watch this from the front to catch the other 3, but so, patience. Oh my goodness, how about that, Truth in Me? The timing, right? Yeah, I'm 4 paragraphs down. Is not much about the ant. Ant people have a knowing about the sweet victory at the end of the line. There is never a concern about going without if they are late for the opening of a sale. If what they want is sold out, they are sure that something equal or better is available. And I got to say that I just can't express it enough. Sometimes being at the end of the line is better. I'm just saying. They'll look around and go, well, nobody else is here. I got some extra cheese potatoes. You want some? Okie dokie. If you have ant medicine, you eat slowly and deliberately and are content in knowing that what is yours will come to you. This knowing is good medicine. It shows a trust in the universe to provide. If ant meandered into your spread today, I did. I had to chase him out of the house, literally coming in the house. It is time to show a little trust and patience in some life situation. You may have forgotten that you will always receive that which you need. And I've talked about this before, in that, there are so many people that, think that they got to have this. I was one of them, 2 or 3 years ago. Hey, Max, how are you? Um, there were so many people, for me, there were so many things that I thought I had to have. I had to have a cell phone. I had to have this. I had to have that. And I don't have a lot of those things now, and I'm doing just fine. So we got to be careful with what we ask for and also what we think we need. So here's Ant saying this. If it's not on the horizon or just around the next anthill, you may need to use some strategy. How can you put to use your power of creation until, in quotes, it arrives? Whatever it means to you at the time. So if you're planning a trip, well, is the weather going to be nice? I wanted to go to the river the other day, and we had thunderstorms. And I was like, okay, I'll wait. But whatever it means, so the patience of it, whatever it is, and it changes as the picture changes. So, and sometimes we have to just go, well, I thought it was this, and it ain't that, but it's closely related to this thing over here. Like, for example, I go into town and maybe I'm looking for a specific color shirt. Okay, I want a blue one. All right, and they're out of blue shirts. So I see this checkered shirt, which this shirt was a favorite of mine, and I found it in the bottom of a box of stuff that almost got tossed out. But I was like, well, wait a minute. Well, but this shirt's just as comfortable, and it's got a pocket where the other ones didn't, and I kind of like the color. It's earthy, where the blue was just blue. So, but anyway, so I found a shirt that fit me. It's comfortable, and after I looked at the color, I said, okie dokie. So even though I didn't find a blue shirt, I found one that was actually a couple of dollars cheaper, and I'm just as happy. So, you may be looking for a blue shirt, and it might be the green one, or you know what I'm saying. So if we're so specific that we can't bend our own little, well, I really like that one over there. So it's the universe telling you you will be provided for. So maybe that blue shirt isn't the one that you needed, but the green shirt come in handy because you went somewhere and you were green and camouflaged where the blue would have stood out. Who knows? Anyway, Ant is working for the good of the whole. Soul Tribe, aren't we all ants? But only in the cosmic sense. Are you? If you are, be assured that the whole wants the same goodness for you and that it will be provided. Isn't that sort of the lesson where all of us are sort of preaching and sharing, Now, the contrary side to Ant. Watch out. Here comes the sting. If you are in a hurry, you may fall prey to those who are not working for the good. Now, how many of you have seen that? Who are not working for the good of the whole of humanity. I discussed this with somebody the other day where somebody was being a charlatan in what they were saying and preaching and who they were all about. And we've seen these people. I don't mention folks by name, but there are folks out there who are doing this preaching of stuff, and that they're like, I may preach to y'all, but I don't say, well, if you don't follow me, I've never asked you to like the thing or to share. It's up to you. And that's the way it has to be. That was my agreement before I started this, right? So here comes the sting. If you are in a hurry, you may fall prey to those who are not working for the good of the whole of humanity. They're in it for themselves somehow, right? These individuals are those individuals who make greed a way of life, prey on the fear. Here comes the rabbit, who preys on the fear and urgency of those who have forgotten natural and tribal law. It's easy money If this warning applies to you, become aware of users and con artists. Now, all of us are, they're conning us in all different kinds of things, with the elections, with the this and that. They're trying to con us all the time. In the contrary position, Ant also teaches you to trust natural law. How many of you, all of us are preaching that, right? In one way, shape, form, or another. If you do, harmony always follows. Your silly impatience will bring Coyote to aid you in sabotaging your plans for the future. If you allow your panic to outweigh your rational sensibilities. Coyote, what was that last card? Coyote. So talk about our, contribution tonight and choosing the cards. Every one of these cards is related in some way to the other. Your silly impatience will bring Coyote to aid you in sabotaging your plans for the future. If you will allow your panic to outweigh your rational sensibilities. So they're trying to keep us in a panic. They're trying to keep us in chaos. And so we need to be like the ant and have some patience in that. The key here is to honor the will of the Great Spirit so that the mountains are not made of anthills. Oh, holy crap. There you go. I mean, if I tried to pick a topic for a discussion tonight, that's lasted almost 2 hours, by the way, and y'all picked them last 2 cards, but holy mackerel. So what does this all mean in the long run of stuff? Well, stuff we've been talking about, and that I guess I do have the owl medicine in that. Yeah, wow, very weird. You go back and hear the first part of this, G-Ant. Is that supposed to be giant ant? Anyway, I just realized that. That was powerful. Thank you, Truth in Me. But it's not just my message, but I'm just the conduit, right? I had the prayer. The owls came to me last night and said, hey, we got to talk. And, so with that said, I'm just a conduit here. My wisdom is the wisdom of the universe because I got it right. Giant, good. It could be Gi-ant, as depending on where you're from, but I digress. All right, so after 2 hours, I really want to smoke this cigarette. So, Creator, I offer this tobacco smoke, but so in this mess that we're in right now, and the only way we can not be in this mess right now is to cash out, and I mean, to end our lives and go to the next realm. And I'm sorry, not until it's my time. We miss those who have passed before. I'm always sending out, each and every day there's a little Brian prayer. You know what I mean? That I hope you're doing okay up there. Hope you're dealing okay. Just sending out that little cosmic hug. Even though he's not present with us, I send that out. Look, I know my granny's still out there. I know of these other things. So with that said, so our understanding of the universe is very simple. And when we are being pressured from wherever the pressure is coming from, to wear a mask or do it. Now, if it's the law and you can't go in the store, then you got to do it. You can be all pissed off and do your thing, but you got to be patient. So you understand that we got to get through this one way or the other. And if they make these little rules that seem asinine to the rest of us, and that seem a little crazy here and there and blah, 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 then we just need to be patient. And I've talked about my time in jail. You know, this guy wants to give you a hard time. One of the guards gave me a hard time, and it came to bite him in the ass, and he got suspended. It took months for that. I don't call it revenge, but he created his own karma, but it got him in the end. But as Ant, I had to be patient for that to happen. Now, I wasn't going anywhere anyway, but I could have, been rude and obnoxious, and it wouldn't have come back around for him. But at the same time, I got to say, I laughed my ass off when he got in trouble, but he did it himself. I didn't do it. I just was patient. That's what was important. So there are times when we've had a flat tire and we're out on the road. You don't have the patience. You got to get somewhere or do something. You got to change the tire. Now, there are a lot of people who don't know how to change a damn tire. I'm like, what? Oh, well, I got to be patient and call AAA or whoever. Okie dokie. Now, I know there are folks that aren't capable of changing their tire, but I still am. And if I have a flat, I'm going to be the one that changes it. Probably. So, but the thing is, and I've stopped and helped other people, and other people have stopped and helped me. It's just the drop of a hat. And I gave some folks this last Christmas, not this last Christmas, but the one before. I was in town doing some shopping and getting something to eat, and my battery died in my truck, and I'm stuck. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have anybody to call. And these two charming Mexican ladies in his car, they pull up, Senor, you need battery? Yeah. And they, popped the hood and pulled up to my truck. And, and I'd just gotten paid. So I was like, here, let me give you something. No. And I gave them $20. And they were like, what? And I was like, look, Merry Christmas. You helped me out of a jam. I just happened to get paid. I'm good. $20. It had cost me more than that, right? And so who knows, that $20 could have bought a present for one of their kids. That's not the point. But they were there when I needed it without having to ask somebody or call somebody or whatever. And I just felt like, here's a gift. Here's $20. But no. So that's how it rolls for me. And there have been times when I was the person who helped someone else out. So it's that pay it forward, So you never know when you're going to be the one that needs that help for someone to just come along. Or if you're the person that comes along, like that story where we went to town that time and saved that man when he got his leg cut off and his truck was on fire. And that was the last thing either one of us expected to do that night, was to save a person's life, and et cetera, et cetera. But so we never know when we're going to be called upon to do something extraordinary. And that extraordinary may be giving somebody $10 for gas to get home. It could, the extraordinary isn't how big the thing is. It's the incident at the time that the other person needs the help or whatever. But in our own life, we have to be patient because we're constantly being pushed to make decisions. And I know some of us are feeling stuck, like we talked about earlier. But in that unstuckedness, let's be careful. We can be coyote and go do something that's silly and fun without getting hurt. But at the same time, we can free ourselves from the fear of calling for the hawk to come down and eat us every time, like rabbit. So with these combined things, we see through the deception. We use coyote to help us look at some of our stubbornness and some of our clumsiness possibly, and how we continually sabotage our own lives by living in fear like the rabbit does. See, these 4 cards, oh my God, were they chosen tonight for a reason? I don't know what I would title this video other than Owl and More. But I think that the overall, what is the message for us? We can look at our own lives and go, yeah, I see where that is. Yeah, I can see where that's, I can see where Ant's important, and I can see where the patience is, and I can see where coyote sabotages us. So when we see these things in our life, we can say, that's coyote. Oh, woo, I'm sabotaging myself here. I'd done called the Acme, you know, company for a helicopter and then didn't send all the parts, or whatever, you know what I mean. But so with that, though, there is wisdom in all of this. Does that make me a wise person? I don't know. It does make me a seeker of wisdom. And that keeps me being a shaman in training because I continue to seek the wisdom. I continue to seek. I sort of, in my heart, I kind of know what that inner secret is. It's the love of the universe and that we're all a part of it. So I'm the greater things that I'm going to learn, and I'm sure there are greater things for me to learn, but are going to be on how my participation in this, like doing these videos. You all have stressed to me how important it is for me to have the videos, and where I'm going, I don't know, I ain't got shit to say, but I'm going to do a video anyway. We're going to talk about the owl and this, and we're going to see what transpires. And there's 17 of y'all in here, and many of you have been participating, but I know all of y'all are thinking, what? Yeah. So the universe is speaking to us all, It ain't just me. It's to us all. So I'm here to share it with you. Thank you. Cheers, everybody. And, So what's next in this craziness? What does all of this mean? Hey, Debbie Bell, I don't know if I said hi to you. Tanya, Debbie, Project Sky Falls. If I missed anybody, forgive me. We need to be watchful of the universe, be patient of things. And, GN, and I love it. I do. Tanya, is that every day we're going to be faced with new things, like the video I did yesterday with the changing world. So the best we can do is learn how to be adaptive. So the ant teaches us that. If it's not a blue shirt, well, then there's a shirt that's on sale that's just as comfortable, and I ended up liking the color more because it's not just blue. But anyway, and that's true of this shirt. But to the point, though, in the long scheme of things, what we think we need, and I've talked about this before, in that, you need a car. Well, so in your quest for a car, somebody says, well, I got this old Ford, and you go, well, I don't really like Fords. I want a Chevy. Well, but you stated you needed a car. Yeah, but I really don't like Fords. I'd rather have a Chevy. Well, but okay, but it's a car. Blah, 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 blah. So be careful. We can wish for something and go, well, that's not really what I thought I needed. That's not nee. Be grateful. Be grateful. The Creator will send you. You may say, oh my God, this Ford. Back in the day when I was growing up, Ford meant fix or repair daily. That was the old adage. Ford, fix or repair daily. Yeah. So and I've got a Mazda that's a lot of Ford parts in it, and it's got 278,000 miles on it with a lot of original parts. So can I bitch about a Ford these days? No. It is a Mazda, and Ford bought out part of Mazda back in the day. But anyway, a lot of Ford parts. And but it's still ticking. And she's been banged up, beat up, hit by several deer. I've taken her, 278,000 miles, a couple of times around the planet. In driving to, the woods and the mountains and puppet shows and, and things like that. So, but anyway. But so we have to be careful if we ask for something, well, I need a new Ford pickup. Hey, I got a Chevy, I got a Toyota, I got a Nissan, I got a pickup truck over here. Well, but it's 2 years old, but it's not brand new, but it's got low mileage. No, I want a brand new. We gotta be careful. And I know people who I gotta have something, and when they get it, they're really not freaking happy with it. Well, I thought I really wanted this. Yeah, see, so we need to be patient with some of our decisions and what we think as like the ant. Maybe the blue shirt isn't the one you need. Maybe it's not the Ford or the Chevy. Maybe it's a Toyota somebody's got. Who knows? But the idea, though, that we have to be open to the universe. So if we think that everything's like this, like Catholics, they think everything's like this, and it's not. I didn't agree with the Catholics back when I was going to Catholic school. I was all the time getting my knuckles rapped from the nuns for, well, I don't think Jesus would do that. Really? But St. Paul said, what? But on the other side of the coin, though, it brought me, of course, my spiritualism had nothing to do with the Catholic Church. But had I not had some type of religious background, would I have had the religious experience, the spiritual experience that I had? I don't know. So, I can't bitch too much about the Catholics. There was a little bit in there that I got out of it, but it has nothing to do with the church. It had to do more with the Bible and with the rest. So, but anyway. So our spirituality is based on our everyday experiences that is cumulative. So I got 68 years to be able to say, okay, look what I did, and look at the mistakes I've made. Please be careful in what we choose for the future. And back in the 60s, the future was pretty even though we had, social unrest, and there were riots, and there were killings, and there were lynchings, and there were, and then the 70s came about, and disco and all that kind of stuff. And things seem to kind of calm down. But history has a way of repeating itself, and we find ourselves in another situation. And I did a video, I don't know, 9 months ago, about the pandemic of 1916, 17, 18 back then, when a lot of people around here died. And I don't think half of these people were actually recorded in the books, because some of them were just children or a couple of years old, and they didn't have records like they do now. But I think a lot more people died, and it had nothing to do with wearing masks, but there were people just on just what was considered as a deserted island that got these things. Now, with all the billions of people on this planet and this virus, if it was as evil, wicked, mean, and bad, nasty as it was, there'd be a shitload more dead people. Just say it. Not that that's my wish, but if it's as bad as it was, the numbers would be tenfold more. I'm not wishing this, okay? It's an observation. So the criticism and stuff, we just have to consider, are we being deceived? We need to be patient with some of our decisions, and we need to make sure that we're not tricking ourselves as Coyote. And the owl, always be aware of deception. So my friends, I find myself repeating myself again and again, and that is not what I like to do. So Tanya, Mama always said, be careful what you wish for. Thank you, Tanya. Fun on a dirt road, truth in me. Absolutely. Max says the Beatles song "Happiness is a Warm Gun." Don't know why that song came up. LOL. Max, happiness is a warm gun, and what most people don't understand is a gun was a needle, not a gun, not a pistol rifle gun. The gun was happiness is a warm gun, and you did this and you shot up. The shoot gun, happiness is a warm gun. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Yep. Love to all, truth in me, Max. Class introduction of radar at the same time as the Spanish flu. Yep. Remote Hong Kong flu and the FM radio came at the same time. I know there's a lot of odd coincidences, like, the introduction of 5G and this one. Just saying. Is there a conspiracy? Just saying. What does Al teach us? See through the deceit. Wing. Thank you, Michelle. So after 2 hours and 10 minutes almost, I will close this session out and say, I think we all learned a little something. And if nothing, we just need to be aware of those signs around us. And the 2 cards you all chose fit right in with the 2 that I chose. So I think this was a profitable evening of reading the medicine cards. My friends, thank you for your participation. As always, I am humbled, deeply humbled by your love, your affection, your prayers that you send to me and also that you send and share with others. Thank you so much. To Debbie and, oh, somebody else showed up. Who we got? Deborah. Okay. Michelle, Debbie Bell, GN, Max as always. Whoever else is, I know there's a bunch of you hanging out in the background. Project Skyfalls. Um, I do love you all, and thank you for being who you are. David Castle, thank you so much. Tammy, thank you. And each one of us are different for a reason. If we were all the same, it would be a boring place to live. So thank goodness we are all different. And it's our differences that we should bring together because we all believe in the same thing. We all believe in that eternal light. We believe in the great creator. We believe in the soul tribe. We believe in the cosmic of things. We know that we don't understand it all, but we're striving to try to learn and be better human beings. What more can the universe ask for, and what more can we ask for? So I pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives, and anyone that you come in contact with, will learn to accept and receive and continue to share the knowledge and the wisdom and the healing from the universe. And times three, learn to reject the chaos that comes into your life. Learn to reject the negative that comes into your life. Learn to reject those things which create chaos within your own spirit. Stay true to yourself, stay true to the word, and the word is love. Be the frequency you wish to receive. Brian, thank you, my friend. And to all of you, I say thank you. Maverick, Truth in Me, I second that thought. Whatever. What'd you say, Maverick? Let me read this before I go. Thank you for what you say tonight, David Null. It settled my mind. And when I joined, I was needing a moment to calm myself. You see, and I was kind of questioning my own as to whether or not I should do a video tonight and to back it up after the Soul Tribe thing. And I was like, somebody out there needs a message. And so, yeah, I got to do this. And here I am. And see, I'm listening, and I'm not trying to take kudos for that. I'm not. But it does reinforce the fact that Spirit was moving me to have this conversation and to do the medicine cards. Here we are. So thank you, my friends. And I'm glad that I am, being used for good in having these conversations and to continue to try to spread the wisdom and knowledge of the universe, but you each will find it in your own way. Thank you, Truth in Me. Project Skyfall, thank you. Always need your messages. Thank you, Michelle. And your love and affection and good prayers and thoughts are always. Somebody came out of the background. Shay, hi, do you do pregnancy readings? I have. I don't know, Shay, if I could do it like right this moment kind of thing. Right now, Spirit says boy. There you go. I don't have to pull a card. They're just saying boy. Now, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I don't have to meditate sometimes. I just get an answer. Tanya, that's what I've always told my kids. We're all different for a reason. Yep. Maverick says, I was making a change, but it was not taken well on either part part, mine or theirs. And Maverick, was Coyote involved in that? Just saying. uh, we're all the same, only in the fact that we belong to the League of Like-Minded Beings. We are all the same in that we are part of this universe. We're all the same in that we're spiritual beings, but we all have different things. Shay says, everybody keeps saying boy, only a few said a girl, LOL. Max says, boy, don't know. Sometimes at first thought, I can go, well, let me think about this. And I'm more right than wrong with the first impression. Shay says, I used a homemade pendulum and it said boy. Homemade pendulums aren't necessarily bad. And a lot of times, since you're checking with yourself about it, chances are you're more true than not. So see, but anyway, I guess we'll find out in the long run, right, Shay? Yes, Tanya, we are different for a reason, because we all bring a slightly different point of view to the same thing to help us each all understand. Get your mom's wedding ring suspended on a string, says Maverick. All right, folks, I really do have a butt cramp. Been doing this now for 3 hours. And I got to pee, and I want to get some more coffee, and I don't want to keep you all. You all and your attention and your participation is highly valued. But when I make a 3-hour video, I sometimes wonder, does anybody ever watch this? And I put some really good stuff 3/4 of the way through. So it's like, man, I should have this discussion all by itself. But anyway, so to not make this any longer, I love you all. Thank you, Delaney, Michelle, everybody, G Ant, Truth in Me, Shay, Tanya, Maverick, all y'all that I missed, Deborah. So y'all stay safe. Have a happy Saturday and a weekend. If you're anywhere near Florida, the East Coast, we do have a storm coming. So don't be silly or stupid. Take some kind of precautions and make sure you got enough water and stuff around. So until next time, my friends, keep it between the ditches. TTFN. Ta-ta for now from South Georgia. Hawkeye Two Feathers saying cosmic hugs. Cheers, everybody. And keep the faith and keep the love going. And share what you know. Bye till next time.